everyone, my name is Macy and my business is called Quaint Rose Needle Arts. So it's been a while, of course, since my last video. I think I did like a whip parade at the end of the year or the beginning of the new year, I can't remember. It's been a long time. So I do have four new spring designs to show you today, which I will do first, and then I only have a couple of lips. I haven't been doing that much stitching considering how long it's been, but most of it's been on these spring things anyway, so I guess we'll get started with showing you that at the beginning of the video. So I'm just going to grab what's in here first. Well, so the first new release I have is Tulip Urn to go with the other two urn designs that I have with the two different fabrics sewn together. I didn't do the best job finishing this one so you could see it. Like, I don't know how well you can see this in the camera that it says spring on the bottom. You can see it good in real life. But yeah, I didn't do the best job finishing this. Pillow was a little bit rushed trying to get it done. But this is a Tulip Urn, and I put the year 24 for 2024. Got some little bees, and it says spring. To me it looks like you can't see it in the camera, but it does say spring on the bottom there, with a little flower border and some snails. You can see those little guys. So this series is a quick stitch. They are 110 by 110, which sounds kind of big. I mean, it is a big pillow. It's not like a pin pillow. It's more like a, a decoration item, but it's cute. It's on 32 count ash rose and 32 count the Petit Point light taupe Lugana. Sewn together, it's really easy to sew these together. I always suggest you watch, on my patterns, I suggest you watch the Blue Bonnets and Whiskey Stitching My Linens Together video. That's how I do it, and I always think watching somebody do it is the best way for me to learn how, so that's my suggestion. If you've never done it before, watching her video, mine is stitched with Classic Colorworks, but there is a DMC conversion. And I just added little buttons to it. I couldn't find any trim that I liked at the store, and excuse me, and I didn't give myself enough time to order any. Ugh, the pollen is crazy right now, so excuse me if I keep clearing my throat. Okay, and so I'm just going to show you the next little thing I did, which is a little needle book. This is made from a little antique, and I'll show you. This front cross part, I added the flower corners just for a little more decoration, and then the back. And I'll show you the inside. So I just sewed a little ribbon on to tie it shut. I didn't put any needles in here, but on the inside I sewed felt and lace to stick the needles in, so the lace is kind of like loose in the middle, so you can easily put needles to sew the felt on. It's really easy. I put some tips on the pattern, but I don't know if you can see because I kind of used a matching thread, but you can see the thread. I just sewed the felt and the lace on at the same time through those closest holes to the edge, all the way around on both sides. And then I just sewed the back together. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Through the holes the same, just back and forth through the holes, and that holds it together really nicely. Like, it opens good. So this is also a quick stitch. It's on 18 count perforated paper that I stained with, did I leave those inks over here? I did, hang on. I meant to keep these over here. I stained it with these Distress inks by Tim Holtz. 2 different colors. I just used a paper towel and dabbed it on the ink pad and then just carefully rubbed it around the paper. And it doesn't come off. I held it in my hand stitching. It never came off on me. It didn't come off on the light colored thread or anything like that. Like, I've touched it and everything, and it's been, it seems to be on there. So yeah, I like how that turned out. So it makes it look like the paper is kind of hand dyed, but just stained with ink. And here is the little, see these little cross bookmarks aren't that unusual to find. But I always think they're pretty, and so I decided to reproduce one. Of course, the paper they had back in the day was a lot smaller than the paper we have now. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure 18 count is the smallest perforated paper you can get, but I could be wrong. It's at least the smallest I could find. But you can see on this one they had to sew 2 pieces together. You can see the seam right here. But yeah, this one is pretty fragile, so I just kind of leave it on here so it doesn't fall apart. Yeah. So that is by Grace, a needle book. Quick, pretty little needle book for you. Then another reproduction is Jane Evans, and I bought this one, this antique, because I loved what it says, and I'll read it to you in a minute because it's so like smushed together, it's kind of hard. But also because the antique is really, it's got a lot of holes, it's got a lot of stitch loss, and I really like reproducing those antiques that are kind of falling apart. That way they can be preserved. So this is Jane Evans from March 16th, 1850 is the date on it. And it's just this fun alphabet and this really sweet border around. It's got some long arm stitches, which are really easy. I've done it before on a pattern, but I couldn't remember how, so I just looked it up on YouTube, of course, and watched the video and copied that, and it was extremely easy and, of course, faster than cross stitch. So those 2 borders go fast. Let me go ahead and tell you what I stitched on before I show you the original. This is on 40 count Sand Dunes by Seraphim, and I used Classic Colorworks for this, so I could get a little variegation in the red, which I hope you can see. I think you can. And there's only 4 colors, so there is a DMC conversion if you would just like to do it in DMC. This frame is like really tight. It is not under any of the edges, but it's really tight. This is an 8x8 frame that I just got on Amazon. So that does work on 40 count. Here is the antique. Which is see-through, but you can see all the stitch loss and some of the letters are really messed up, but we made it work. Some of the border is completely gone. Some of these letters are gone. And some of her name is gone. So I really wanted to reproduce this one. Let's see the back of it. there's the back, which is where I got the little bit of a darker color green for the words. And yeah. So that's Jane Evans. I can't remember the stitch count off the top of my head on this one, but I will have the pictures posted on Instagram, and I always post the back cover of the design, which has the stitch count and the supplies that were used. So you can always look at that to get the exact colors if you want to kit any of it up without having to wait for the chart. So the last one is a little friend to Percy Penguin, and her name is Roxy Rabbit. So this is just a really fun, bright spring design. Really fun to stitch. It is on 40 count. The sun is blowing out this corner over here. I'm trying to turn it away from the window. But it's on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha by Zweigart, so easy to get. It's also stitched with Classic Colorworks, and I really like Classic Colorworks, so it's also stitched with Classic Colorworks, but of course there's conversions, and of course they won't always be the same, because Classic Colorworks has some good variation. I mean, you can see this persimmon is what this color is. It has got a lot of dark and light everywhere it's used. This is Licorice Red, which looks hot pink next to pink. And yeah, there's just a lot of colors I just don't exactly match hand-dyed. I usually take them to Michael's, not Michael's, I have Michael's here, but I take the Classic Colorworks to Joann or Hobby Lobby to match colors because I don't have all the DMC colors. And some of these just don't have a match, so you just have to pick, you know, the best one that you think will go. So on this one, I added French knots on the tail to give it a fluffy look, and for the window box flowers, which you don't have to do. This I cross-stitched, I filled it in with cross-stitch and then put the French knots on top. You can see here the bottom grass I did with Smyrna stitch, which you also don't have to do. And that's the only, oh, the rabbit's whiskers, few long stitches in the window pane there. So you can stitch this on Aida because you don't have to do any of that stuff. It's all charted with cross stitch. I just made a note on the pattern where I added the extra fun stitches that just give it some more texture, which I think is really fun. So I just have a little carrot and turnip border flower. It says hop, you can't see it. And yeah, I love stitching her. She was really fun. I guess that's really all I have to say about her. I let my husband name her because he named the other one, so I like the name he picked. I think it suits her in her bright colors. So yeah, those are my 4 new designs, which you can get from your needlework stores. I will make a little list of the ones that I just sent hard copies to. There's only a couple that ordered directly from me, but I know that other stores will order from the distributor. So you will just have to ask your favorite store that you like to shop from if they're getting it, or, you know, if they can get it. Of course, they can always order it from me too. So you can, if you want hard copies, you can just talk to your favorite shop and let them know. And also, the PDFs are already up in my Etsy shop because I wanted them to already be uploaded instead of just telling you, oh, they'll probably be, but they are. I went ahead and did it. and they're up and ready, so you can get stitching on these. I know it's really last minute. There's been a lot going on in our family. So yeah, it took me a lot longer than I had wanted it to get these done. I had been planning for the beginning of February, but it didn't happen. I was sick for 3 weeks with a cold and then like the worst stomach virus I've ever had in my entire life. And oh, which reminds me, there's one more thing I wanted to show you. I'll have to get up to grab it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, and so that put me behind like 3 weeks. And then market was the 1st of March. I didn't want to release them at the same time everyone was, you know, all hyped up on Nashville. So here they are, and I know it's really close to Easter. Some of these are sort of Easter related. Here's one thing I told you I'd do. I did not read what Jane Evans says. But a lot of these are just spring related, like Roxy and Tulip Urn, and even the Needlebook. All of them you can stitch anytime, I think. But I wanted to have them released and ready before Easter. So Jane Evans, I was going to read you what it said and I forgot. So it says, I love my shepherd's voice. His watchful eye shall keep my wandering soul among the thousands of his sheep. And she misspelled watchful. I just charted it how it says, and yeah, so that's what it says. So I loved what it said because it's just different than some things that you see. And let me grab this one other thing. Sorry if there's a mess behind me. Okay, so this I released. Let me get the dog hair off. I swear, the animal hair. I released this. This is another casualty of sickness and just life events. I tried to get this out by, not Thanksgiving, what's it called? Valentine's Day. I tried to get this out before Valentine's Day, but I just didn't have the time. I did release it, I think 2 or 3 days before Valentine's Day, but it was during when all the designers were posting their new designs for market, and I don't know whether it's because it's weird, people thought it was weird, or because it got lost on Instagram, but I was too sick to deal with it, so this one didn't really get sold at all. I thought it was cute and fun to stitch, so here is my loaf pig. Love one another. Yeah, so it didn't, wow, it is really getting blown out by the sun here. It's not nearly that bright, although it is bright. It's just stitched in DMC, 36 count, fragile by needle and flax. Just a little piece I had left over, mounted on this bead board from Hobby Lobby with a little ribbon. That's kind of the color of it. I thought it was fun and kind of cute. It was pretty quick. These boards are super nice from Hobby Lobby to finish on and inexpensive. I just painted this one red the best I could because I was sick at the time, but did I say it's just in DMC? Yeah. So we have a little frog and a cat on a loafy pig's back. Just says love one another with some hearts hanging by string. Yeah, so I wanted to show you that on a video because I never got the chance to do it. So that one was released as a PDF in my Etsy shop at the time. Okay, so that is all the new things I have to show you. So now I guess I'll show you some of my whips that I've done a little work on since I showed them to you last. So the first thing, no, the latest thing I worked on is by Heartstring Samplery, which is this one right here. Thirsty Heart. So I pulled this one out of the pile from the whip parade I did because it had been like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years since I've worked on it, and I really love it, so I got it out to do some work on it. So what I had previously done was this flower and half of that darker one, so all I've done is the other half of the flower, and I added these 2 white, I don't know where to put it where it won't blow out, these 2 light colored flowers, and then outlined the leaves and started filling them in. So not a whole lot of progress, but I just started working on it again. So the only thing left to get across is another pink flower right here, and that'll be like the whole width of the border, which is exciting. And so I plan to do that. That's what I'm going to keep working on right now. I just took it off the Q snap so you can see the whole thing, so it's really pretty. This is really pretty fabric too. I love this color. It is 40 count beige gray by XG Design. So I'm doing this in the called for colors. And I really love the flowers because it's a pretty simple floral border. It's not like crazy color changes, which I do like, but this one is nice just for while the kids are doing school and they don't need my help at the moment. I can just fill in and I don't have to count while I'm listening to their online teachers. So that's what I've been working on most recently. And then before that, I had been working on Martha Walmsley by Hands Across the Sea, of course. I love this one and had to start it almost immediately. I think I've gotten some good progress on this. This is what I worked on mostly whenever I wasn't doing model stitching. So previously, it's gonna look brighter than it is because of the window, but so I've gotten all the way across the border. So here's the 2 corners, which was exciting. Previously, I just had this side and right over the pot. So I added all of these flowers and part of the bird and these middle flowers here. And I finished up the pot. It wasn't finished up last I showed it. So yeah, this one is also very fun to stitch because I love the kind of confetti in the floral border. I think it's so pretty. I love floral borders like that. And of course, this bird is going to be beautiful when I get to the tail. I just wanted to save some of the bird and do some more border first. So I didn't finish the, most beautiful part when I still had a lot of border stitching to do. So I'm very excited that I got across the top border. I'm happy with stopping there. This is on the 36 count Tabby Cat linen. I'm sure it says on the book what it is. I bought the kit, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Does Hands Across the Sea tell you? Yeah, Lollybrock. So it's on 36 count Lollybrock, and I'm just using the Called For DMC, which I really like using for Hands Across the Sea patterns because they usually have a lot of colors. And then the other thing, what did I do with the picture? Oh, way over here. Sorry. kind of bent. But this old style scarlet letter, Heaven Is My Hope. So this is another one that I pulled out during the whip parade, and I hadn't worked on it for a few years, maybe like 2 years, and I really love it, and so I decided to pull it out. I haven't worked on this one since, I think, New Year's. I think this was what I worked on over New Year's. That's what it'll look like when it's done. And I'm happy with the progress I got on it. So previously I had all of this border and these birds. So what I added was this greenery around, and I decided to go up into this middle part of the pattern. So I went up into the grass and the castle and this tree here. And that is a lot of fill-in. Basically, all of this is just a lot of solid fill-in. And that's all I had time to do on it before I had to continue on with other things. But I think this one's going to be super pretty when it's done. It's got specialty stitches. There's queen stitches right here. Over one. Birdie. Or queen. There's a lot of queen stitches in this. Which I think is super fun to do something different every once in a while. This is on 40 Count Mayflower by Fox and Rabbit. I love this particular piece of Mayflower. You can really see the different darker streaks in it. So yeah, that's all. There's a googly eye stuck to it. Children. That's all I've been working on that I can think of. I think that's all I've been working on. If I worked on something else, I don't remember doing it at all, so I mean, it's quite possible. Other than some other models that I'm almost finished with that I have planned. I guess I can show you this one right here. This is a red sampler, which I just love doing. I'm stitching it with Gloriana silk, Schoolhouse red, which is getting blown out by the sun. Let me just check it out of the Q snap real quick. This one is almost, this is what I'm working on right now. This is almost done. I have 2 letters left. So this will be part of the next new releases. Take it out of the Q snap, sorry. Just throw that on the floor. Okay. So I love this fabric so much. So here's this one almost finished. You can see I just have this little spot right here to do. Y and Z, and a little more of these side motifs here. So this is on 36 Count Brea by Needle and Flax. I just love Needle and Flax. Like, I think her linen is definitely one of my favorites. I love soft linen that is easy to see. So much faster that way for me. So I love this. This has been really fun to stitch because, of course, the silk is super fun to stitch with, super smooth. This one's from 1989. Just a fun red sampler with a fun different alphabet to do. I love stitching red samplers, so yeah, that's one of the new ones that will be coming soon. Okay, so I guess that's really all I have. Yeah, that's really all I have. So again, the new spring patterns are already up in my Etsy shop as PDFs. I won't sell the hard copies for a little while because next week we're going to spend a week in Texas with my family, so I won't be here to ship them anyway. So if you want any other hard copies from my Etsy shop, I'll be turning that off this next Saturday, the 24th, so that, yeah, anything that I get by then, I'll have time to ship. And then I'll be turning the hard copies, putting them where you can't order, whatever you call that. I can't think of the word right now. But you'll still be able to order PDFs during that time. And yeah, so I guess that's all. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll enjoy the new spring designs. So yeah, happy stitching, everyone. Bye. So there's one more thing I wanted to tell you guys. Some exciting news going on in our family is that we are expecting our 4th baby. So we're expecting this baby to be here around the end of August. So that's another reason why it's been so long and I've had so many setbacks. So I'm finally made it into the second trimester, so I'm starting to feel better and trying to get these designs ready before the baby gets here. So yeah, there's a little baby bump already, and yeah, so that's our big family news. So it's exciting.